Welcome back to Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy. In this video, we cover practices 11 to 21, diving deeper into powerful techniques to eliminate procrastination and boost efficiency. Plus, we wrap up with a conclusion summary of key takeaways. Stay focused and take action. Leverage technology wisely. Develop lifelong productivity habits. 11. Upgrade your key skills. The only certain means of success is to render more and better service than is expected of you, no matter what your task may be. O.G. Mandino. Upgrading your skills is one of the most important personal productivity principles of all. Learn what you need to learn so that you can do your work in an excellent fashion. The better you become at eating a particular type of frog, the more likely you are to just plunge in and get it done. A major reason for procrastination is a feeling of inadequacy, a lack of confidence, or an inability in a key area of a task. Feeling weak or deficient in a single area is enough to discourage you from starting the job at all. Continually upgrade your skills in your key result areas. Remember, however good you are today, your knowledge and skills are becoming obsolete at a rapid rate. As Pat Riley, the basketball coach, said, anytime you stop striving to get better, you are bound to get worse. Never stop learning. One of the most helpful of all time management techniques is for you to get better at your key tasks. Personal and professional improvement is one of the best time savers there is. The better you are at a key task, the more motivated you are to launch into it. The better you are, the more energy and enthusiasm you have. When you know that you can do a job well, you find it easier to overcome procrastination and get the job done faster and better than under any other circumstances. One piece of information or one additional skill can make an enormous difference in your ability to do the job well. Identify the most important things you do and then make a plan to continually upgrade your skills in those areas. Rule: continuous learning is the minimum requirement for success in any field. Refuse to allow a weakness or a lack of ability in any area to hold you back. Everything is learnable, and what others have learned, you can learn as well. When I began to write my first book, I was discouraged because I could use only the hunt and peck method of typing. I soon realized that I had to learn to touch type if I was ever going to write and rewrite a 300-page book. So I bought a touch typing program for my computer and practiced for 20 to 30 minutes every day for 3 months. By the end of that time, I was typing 40 to 50 words per minute. With this additional skill, I have been able to write more than 65 books that have now been published all over the world. The best news is that you can learn whatever skills you need to be more productive and more effective. You can become a touch typist if necessary. You can become proficient with a computer. You can become a terrific negotiator or a super salesman. You can learn to speak in public. You can learn to write effectively and well. These are all skills you can acquire as soon as you decide to and make them a priority. 3 steps to mastery. First, read in your field for at least 1 hour every day. Get up a little earlier in the morning and read for 30 to 60 minutes in a book or magazine that contains information that can help you be more effective and productive at what you do. Second, take every course and seminar available on the key skills that can help you. Attend the conventions and business meetings of your profession or occupation. Go to the sessions and workshops. Sit up front and take notes. Purchase the audio recordings of the programs. Dedicate yourself to becoming one of the most knowledgeable and competent people in your field. Third, listen to audio programs in your car. The average car owner sits behind the wheel 500 to 1000 hours each year while driving from place to place. Turn driving time into learning time. You can become one of the smartest, most capable, and highest paid people in your field simply by listening to educational audio programs as you drive from place to place. The more you learn and know, the more confident and motivated you feel. The better you become, the more capable you will be of doing even more in your field. The more you learn, the more you can learn. Just as you can build your physical muscles through physical exercise, you can build your mental muscle with mental exercises. And there is no limit to how far or how fast you can advance except for the limits you place on your own imagination. Eat that frog. Identify the key skills that can help you the most to achieve better and faster results. Determine the core competencies that you will need to have in the future to lead your field. Whatever they are, set a goal, make a plan, and begin developing and increasing your ability in those areas. Decide to be the very best at what you do. Develop a personal plan to prepare yourself to do your most important task in an excellent fashion. Focus on those areas where you have special talents and that you most enjoy. This is the key to unlocking your personal potential. 13. Put the pressure on yourself. The first requisite for success is the ability to apply your physical and mental energies to one problem incessantly without growing weary. Thomas Edison. The world is full of people who are waiting for someone to come along and motivate them to be kind of people they wish they could be. The problem is that no one is coming to the rescue. These people are waiting for a bus on a street where no buses pass. If they don't take charge of their lives and put the pressure on themselves, they can end up waiting forever. And that is what most people do. Only about 2% of people can work entirely without supervision. We call these people leaders. This is the kind of person you are meant to be and that you can be if you decide to be. To reach your full potential, you must form the habit of putting the pressure on yourself and not waiting for someone else to come along and do it for you. You must choose your own frogs and then make yourself eat them in their order of importance. Lead the field. See yourself as a role model. Raise the bar on yourself. The standards you set for your own work and behavior should be higher than anyone else could set for you. Make a game of starting a little earlier, working a little harder, and staying a little later. Always look for ways to go to the extra mile to do more than you are paid for. Your self esteem has been defined by psychologist Nathaniel Branden as the reputation you have with yourself. You build up or pull down your reputation with yourself with everything you do or fail to do. The good news is that you feel better about yourself whenever you push yourself to do your best. You increase your self esteem whenever you go beyond the point where the average person would normally quit. Create imaginary deadlines. One of the best ways for you to overcome procrastination and get more things done faster is by working as though you had only one day to get your most important jobs done. Imagine each day that you have just received an emergency message and that you will have to leave town tomorrow for a month. If you had to leave town for a month, what would you make absolutely sure that you got done before you left? Whatever your answer, go to work on that task right now. Another way to put pressure on yourself is to imagine that you just received an all expense paid vacation at a beautiful resort as a prize, but you will have to leave tomorrow morning on the vacation or it will be given to someone else. What would you be determined to finish before you left so that you could take that vacation? Whatever it is, start on that one job immediately. Successful people continually put the pressure on themselves to perform at high levels. Unsuccessful people have to be instructed and pressured by others. By putting the pressure on yourself, you will accomplish more tasks better and faster than ever. You will become a high performance, high achieving personality. You will feel terrific about yourself, and bit by bit, you will build the habit of rapid task completion that will then go on to serve you all the days of your life. Eat that frog. Set deadlines and sub deadlines on every task and activity. Create your own forcing system. Raise the bar on yourself and don't let yourself off the hook. Once you have set yourself a deadline, stick to it and even try to beat it. Write out every step of a major job or project before you begin. Determine how many minutes and hours you will require to complete each phase. Then, race against your own clock. Beat your own deadlines. Make it a game and resolve to win. 14. Motivate yourself into action. It's in the compelling zest of high adventure and of victory and of creative action that man finds his supreme joys. Antoine de Saint Exupéry. To perform at your best, you must become your own personal cheerleader. You must develop a routine of coaching yourself and encouraging yourself to play at the top of your game. Most of your emotions, positive or negative, are determined by how you talk to yourself on a minute to minute basis. It's not what happens to you, but the way that you interpret the things that are happening to you that determines how you feel. Your version of events largely determines whether these events motivate or demotivate you, whether they energize or de energize you. To keep yourself motivated, you must resolve to become a complete optimist. You must decide to respond positively to the words, actions, and reactions of the people and situations around you. You must refuse to let the unavoidable difficulties and setbacks of daily life affect your mood or emotions. Control your inner dialogue. Your level of self esteem, how much you like and respect yourself, is central to your levels of motivation and persistence. You should talk to yourself positively all the time to boost your self esteem. Say, I like myself, over and over until you begin to believe it and behave like a person with a high performance personality. To keep yourself motivated and to overcome feelings of doubt or fear, continually tell yourself, I can do it. I can do it. When people ask how you are, always tell them, I feel terrific. No matter how you really feel at the moment or what's happening in your life, resolve to remain cheerful and upbeat. As Viktor Franklin wrote in his best selling book Man's Search for Meaning, the last of the human freedom is to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. Refuse to complain about your problems, keep them to yourself. As speaker humorist Ed Foreman says, you should never share your problems with others because 80% of people don't care about them anyway, and the other 20% are kind of glad that you have got them in the first place. Develop a positive mental attitude. In Martin Seligman's 22-year study at the University of Pennsylvania, summarized in his book Learned Optimism, he determined that optimism is the most important quality you can develop for personal and professional success and happiness. Optimistic people seem to be more effective in almost every area of life. It turns out that optimists have four special behaviors, all learned through practice and repetition. First, optimists look for the good in every situation, no matter what goes wrong. They always look for something good or beneficial. And not surprisingly, they always seem to find it. Second, optimists always seek the valuable lesson in every setback or difficulty. They believe that difficulties come not to obstruct but to instruct. They believe that each setback or obstacle contains a valuable lesson they can learn and grow from, and they are determined to find it. Third, optimists always look for the solution to every problem. Instead of blaming or complaining when things go wrong, they become action oriented. They ask questions like, what's the solution? What can we do now? What's the next step? Fourth, optimists think and talk continually about the goals. They think about what they want and how to get it. They think and talk about the future and where they are going rather than the past and where they come from. They are always looking forward rather than backward. When you continually visualize your goals and ideals and talk to yourself in a positive way, you feel more focused and energized. You feel more confident and creative. You experience a greater sense of control and personal power. And the more positive and motivated you feel, the more eager you will be to get started and the more determined you will be to keep going. Eat that frog. Control your thoughts. Remember, you become what you think about most of the time. Be sure that you are thinking and talking about the things you want rather than the things you don't want. Keep your mind positive by accepting complete responsibility for yourself and for everything that happens to you. Refuse to criticize others, complain, or blame others for anything. Resolve to make progress rather than excuses. Keep your thoughts and your energy focused forward on what you can do right now to improve your life and let the rest go. 15. Technology is a terrible master. There is more to life than just increasing its speed. Mohandas Gandhi. Technology can be your best friend or your worst enemy. Technology becomes the enemy when we give in to an obsessive need to communicate continually. This compulsion to stay plugged in leaves us all psychologically breathless. We have no time to stop, smell the roses, and collect our thoughts. You have a choice. The key is to keep your relationship with technology under control. Bill Gross, who managed more than $600 billion in fixed income funds and bonds when he was with PIMCO, is famous for exercising regularly and meditating daily to keep centered while using no technology at all. Despite turning off all his devices, he never misses an important message. For you to stay calm, clear headed, and capable of performing at your best, detach on a regular basis from the technology that overwhelms you. A researcher who asked a group of CEOs and entrepreneurs to unplug from the technology found they had improved memory, deeper relationships, better sleep, and a greater likelihood of making life transforming decisions. When people are too plugged in, communications technology quickly becomes a destructive addiction. People wake up in the morning and obsessively check all their phone notifications before leaving their beds. They then race to their computers for yet more typing before even eating breakfast, drinking water, or brushing their teeth. People are now checking their smartphones about 46 times each day, according to one study, and about 85 times a day, according to another study, which found that people were accessing their phones twice as often as they thought. Don't become addicted. In Washington, not long ago, I was at business luncheon with a room full of high level executives. Prior to the beginning of the luncheon, one of the organizers stood up and said a short grace. All the executives bowed their heads. When the grace was over, the luncheon began. However, at my table, 4 or 5 out of the 8 people seemed to have been greatly affected by the prayer. They kept their heads down and their hands in their laps even when the food was served. They seemed to be lost in deep thought over the profound questions of the day. Then I realized that they were not praying at all. They were all intensively focused on their smartphones, sending and receiving emails, typing like frantic teenagers, playing video games. They were all lost to the world around them, drowning in a deep sink full of information exchange. Take back your time. One of my clients found himself bound and chained to his computer, receiving and responding to emails several hours each day. The more time he spent at his computer, the fewer of his other important tasks he was able to get done. The stress caused by these undone tasks building up like an avalanche overhang started to affect his personality, his health, and his sleeping habits. We taught him about the 80/20 rule and how it applied to emails. He deleted and unsubscribed from the 80% of his emails that have no value. Of the remaining 20%, only 4% required immediate responses. The other 16% could be transferred to an action folder to be worked on later. Refuse to be a slave. Unchain yourself from your computer. Unsubscribe from all unwanted newsletters. Set up an autoresponder that says, I check my email only twice per day. I'll reply as soon as possible. If this is an emergency, phone this number. A journalist for Fortune magazine once wrote that when he arrived back at the office after a 2 week European vacation, he had more than 700 emails waiting for him. He realized that it would take him a week to get through them all before starting on important projects. For the first time in his career, he took a deep breath and punched the delete all button, erasing those 700 emails forever. He then got busy with the projects that were really important to him and his company. His explanation was simple. I realize that just because somebody sends me an email, it does not mean that they own a piece of my life. Although not many people would delete their entire inbox, you can definitely delete and ignore more emails than you do right now. Empower yourself to remove all emails that don't relate to important goals and relationships. Someone will tell you. People often ask me at my seminars, but don't you have to stay plugged into technology to keep current with the news? I tell them, if it is really important, someone will tell you. Many people unplug from the news, and surprisingly enough, they remain well informed on most important subjects. You should do the same. Eat that frog. Resolve today to create zones of silence during your day to day activities. Turn off your computer and your smartphone for 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the afternoon, you'll be amazed at what happens. Nothing. Resolve to unplug from technology for one full day each week. By the end of your digital detox, your mind will be calm and clear. When your mental batteries have time to recharge, you will be much more effective at eating frogs. 16. Technology is a wonderful servant. Technology is just a tool. Melinda Gates. You must discipline yourself to treat technology as a servant, not as a master. The purpose of technology is to make your life smoother and easier, not to create complexity, confusion, and stress. Usually, to get more done of higher value, you have to stop doing things of lower value. Keep asking yourself, what's important here? What's most important for you to accomplish at work? What's important in your personal life? If you could do only one or two of the activities available to you, which ones would they be? Use your technological tools to regularly remind yourself of what is most important and protect yourself from what is least important. Technology can be a simple way to get control of your communications, your time, and even your emotions. Take control of your communication. Clear your digital workspace as you would your physical desk. Close every program not needed for the task at hand. Block the websites that distract you the most. Make sure that only the communication channels you need to complete your task are open. Most tasks require some communication, but having 10 different ways to communicate is overkill. Once only relevant information is visible on your screen, arrange your windows for perfect workflow. Show your smartphone who is boss by disabling all notifications, both audio and visual. This is an important step toward checking your phone on your own schedule and thus regaining control of your life. But what about emergencies? Workers with responsibility for young children, elderly parents, or disabled relatives may feel that unplugging from technology or disabling notifications is simply not an option. What if their elderly parent slips in the bath or their young child has an emergency at daycare? This is an absolutely valid concern. The solution, however, is not to be available to everyone at all times. Rather, create a phone number, email address, or other communication channel that only the caretaker of your loved one knows about it. Leave that channel open and reserve it for emergencies. If you desire, you can do this for your work life as well. Give your boss or key clients a way to reach you that no one else has. You could also program your email manager to automatically sort emails from your most important work relationships into a read first folder. In other words, segment your communication channels so that only frogs can hop into your castle of concentration. Take control of your time. Your calendar makes a wonderful servant but a terrible master. Never automatically click accept on a digital invitation. Ask yourself if the invitation really fits your priorities before pressing the button. Schedule large blocks of time for task completion into your calendar as if they were appointments. Be so aggressive about it that when people look at your calendar, they will see only a tiny slice of free time. This will impress them and motivate them to schedule shorter meetings. Your digital to-do list, otherwise known as the task management software, is a powerful tool for taking control of your time. It has all the positives of a paper to-do list plus a few additional features. Digital to-do list allows you to transfer items to another person's to-do list at the click of a button. This can help you delegate more efficiently, but make sure you accept only those tasks that are in line with your priorities. A digital to-do list can also be programmed to remind you relentlessly about your most important tasks. Take control of your emotions using technology. Many people fail to make technology their servant because they fear learning new skills. This fear can be mastered. Refuse to let it hold you back. Everything is learnable, and what others have learned, you can learn as well. Let your organization know that you are interested in learning about technological tools that will make you more efficient. If you have a friend, family member, or coworker who is a tech whiz, learn everything you can from that person. Above all else, avoid the phrase I can't. Technology is no longer optional, it's just as important as reading, writing, and arithmetic. And the idea that only certain kinds of people are good at technology is a myth. No matter your age, race, or gender, you have the power to master technology. If you do become frustrated, just remember that it happens to everyone. Even expert programmers who are paid hundreds of dollars an hour will sometimes be frustrated by technology. When you make technology your servant, it can be a source of positive, motivating emotions and increased productivity. Post your most important stretch goal on social media and promise your followers you'll achieve that goal. Update them daily on your progress so that if you skip a day or slack off, everyone will know. Posting on social media about your progress is a great way to reward yourself for making headway on long term projects. When the payoff is far in the future, it can be hard to stay motivated, so getting likes or hearts from your followers on daily updates can be a way to achieve a mini payoff. You can even seek out people in your field on social media and compete with them to see who can eat the most frogs. For example, many novelists like to share their daily word counts on Twitter so they can see who in their social circle is the fastest and most productive writer and who gives in to procrastination. Stop being enslaved by social media and make it work for you instead. It's simple. Instead of posting something trite, post about your life goals and seek the social support to conquer them. Eat that frog. Resolve today to turn off all notifications except for your emergency channels. Create special areas in your digital life for your most important tasks. Resolve to research and install one piece of software or one app that will help you the most efficient and focused. 17. Focus your attention. All of life is the study of attention. Where your attention goes, your life follows. Jiddu Krishnamurti. Focused attention is the key to high performance. The attraction of distraction, the lure of electronic and other interruptions leads to diffused attention, a wandering mind, a lack of focus, and ultimately underachievement and failure. Current research proves that continuously responding and reacting to emails, telephone calls, and texts and instant messages has a negative effect on your brain, shortening your attention span and making it difficult, if not impossible, for you to complete the task upon which your future and your success depend. Developing an addiction. When you check your email first thing in the morning or when you respond to the bell or other sound that indicates an incoming email or message, your brain releases a tiny shot of dopamine. This shot gives you a pleasant buzz. It stimulates your curiosity and causes you to react and respond immediately. You instantly forget whatever else you were doing and turn your full attention to the new message. Like the sound of bells ringing when you win, while playing a slot machine, the sound of the email or IM triggers the reaction of, what did I win? You immediately stop your work to find out what your prize is. When you start your day with a few shots of dopamine triggered by your email or IM bell going off, you find it extremely difficult to pay close attention to your important tasks for the rest of the day. The multitasking illusion. Some people believe that they can engage in multitasking, going back and forth between emails and important tasks, but people can focus only on one thing at a time. What they are really doing is called task shifting. They are shifting their attention back and forth, like swinging a searchlight from one object to another. After an internet interruption, it takes about 17 minutes for you to shift your total attention back to your task and continue working. This is precisely why so many people today are working harder and harder, shifting from email interruptions to work and back again all day long and getting less and less accomplished. They also make more mistakes. The proven solutions. The solutions are simple and are being adopted by the most productive people in every industry. First, don't check your email in the morning. and immediately trigger the all day dopamine addiction. Leave your devices off. Second, if you must check your email for any reason, get in and out fast and get back to work. Turn off the sound on your computer and put your phone on vibrate. Stop the stimulations that trigger the flow of dopamine and lead to continuous interruptions. Finally, resolve to check your email only twice a day at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. and then turn it off again each time. Provide a telephone number where someone can reach you in an emergency. Whenever you are in a meeting with one or more people, follow the same protocol. Leave electronic devices off. Never insult the persons you are meeting with by working on your laptop or answering your phone. Pay 100% attention to the other people. This applies at home as well. Double your productivity. Here is a simple way to double your productivity. First, plan each day in advance. Select your most important task and then start on that task first thing before you do anything else. Second, work non-stop for 90 minutes with no diversion or distraction and then give yourself a 15-minute break. Third, start again and work another 90 minutes flat out. Finally, after this 3-hour work period, you can then reward yourself with a shot of dopamine by checking your email. When you develop the habit of completing 3 hours of important work each morning, first thing, you will both double your productivity and break yourself of the habit of checking your email all day long. You will regain full control of your life. Eat that frog. Keep your goals of success and high productivity in mind. Before you do anything, ask yourself, is this helping me achieve one of my most important goals, or is this just a distraction? Refuse to become a slave to the bells and whistles that distract you from completing those tasks that can make a real difference in your life. Leave your devices off. 18. Slice and dice the task. The beginning of a habit is like an invisible thread, but every time we repeat the act, we strengthen the strand, add to it another filament until it becomes a great cable and binds us irrevocably in thought and act. Horizon, sweat, madden. A major reason for procrastinating on big important tasks is that they appear so large and formidable when you first approach them. One technique that you can use to cut a big task down to size is the salami slice method of getting work done. With this method, you lay out the task in detail, writing down every step in order, and then resolve to do just one slice of the job for the time being, like eating a roll of salami one slice at a time, or like eating an elephant one bite at a time. Psychologically, you will find it easier to do a single small piece of large project than to start on the whole job. Often, once you have started and completed a single part of the job, you will feel like doing just one more slice. Soon, you will find yourself working through the job one part at a time, and before you know it, the job will be completed. Develop a compulsion to closure. An important point to remember is that you have deep within you an urge to completion, or what is often referred to as a compulsion to closure. This means that you actually feel happier and more powerful when you start and complete a task of any kind. You satisfy a deep subconscious need to bring finality to a job or project. This sense of completion or closure motivates you to start the next task or project and then to persist towards final completion. This act of completion triggers the release of endorphins in your brain mentioned earlier. And the bigger the task you start and complete, the better and more elated you feel. The bigger the frog you eat, the greater the surge of personal power and energy you experience. When you start and finish a small piece of a task, you feel motivated to start and finish another part, then another, and so on. Each small step forward energizes you. You soon develop an inner drive that motivates you to carry through to completion. Swiss cheese your tasks. Another technique you can use is called the Swiss cheese method of working. You use this technique to get yourself into gear by resolving to punch a hole in the task like a hole in the block of Swiss cheese. You Swiss cheese a task when you resolve to work for a specific time period on it. This may be as little as 5 or 10 minutes, after which you will stop and do something else. You will just take one bite of your frog and then rest or do something else. The power of this method is similar to that of the salami slice method. Once you started working, you develop a sense of forward momentum and a feeling of accomplishment. You become energized and enthusiastic. You feel yourself internally motivated and propelled to keep going until the task is complete. You should try the salami slice or the Swiss cheese method on any task that seems overwhelming when you approach it for the first time. You will be amazed at how helpful each technique is in overcoming procrastination. I have several friends who have become best selling authors by simply resolving to write one page or even one paragraph per day until the book was completed. And you can do the same. Eat that frog. Put the salami slice or Swiss cheese technique into action immediately to get started on a large, complex, multitask job that you have been putting off. Become action oriented. A common quality of high performers is that when they hear a good idea, they take action on it immediately. Don't delay, try today. 19. Create large chunks of time. Nothing can add more power to your life than concentrating all of your energies on a limited set of targets. Nido Cubine. Most of the really important work you do requires large chunks of unbroken time to complete. Your ability to carve out and use these blocks of high value, highly productive time is central to your ability to make a significant contribution to your work and to your life. Successful salespeople set aside a specific time period each day to phone prospects. Rather than procrastinating or delaying on a task that they don't particularly like, they resolve that they'll phone for one solid hour between 10 and 11 a.m., for example, and they discipline themselves to follow through on their resolution. Many business executives set aside a specific time each day to call customers directly to get feedback, to return phone calls, or to answer correspondence. Some people allocate specific 30 to 60-minute time periods each day for exercise. Many people read great books 15 minutes each night before retiring. In this way, over time, they eventually read dozens of the best books ever written. Schedule blocks of time. The key to the success of this method of working in specific time segments is for you to plan your day in advance and schedule a fixed time period for a particular activity or task. Make work appointments with yourself and then discipline yourself to keep them. Set aside 30, 60, and 90-minute time segments that you use to work on and complete important tasks. Many highly productive people schedule specific activities in pre planned time slots all day long. These people build their work lives around accomplishing key tasks one at a time. As a result, they become more and more productive and eventually produce 2 times, 3 times, and 5 times as much as the average person. Use a time planner. A time planner, broken down by day, hour, and minute and organized in advance, can be one of the most powerful personal productivity tools of all. It enables you to see where you can consolidate and create blocks of time for concentrated work. During these working times, turn off the telephone, eliminate all distractions, and work non-stop. One of the best work habits of all is to get up early and work at home in the morning for 2 to 3 hours. You can get 3 times as much work done at home without interruptions as you ever could in a busy office where you are surrounded by people and bombarded by phone calls. Make every minute count. When you fly on business, you can create your office in the air by planning your work thoroughly before you depart. When the plane takes off, you can work non-stop for the entire flight. You'll be amazed at how much work you can go through when you work steadily in an airplane without interruptions. One of the keys to high levels of performance and productivity is to make every minute count. Use travel and transition times, what are often called gifts of time, to complete small chunks of larger tasks. Eat that frog. Think continually of different ways that you can save, schedule, and consolidate large chunks of time. Use these times to work on important tasks with the most significant long-term consequences. Make every minute count. Work steadily and continuously without diversion or distraction by planning and preparing your work in advance. Most of all, keep focused on the most important results for which you are responsible. Develop a sense of urgency. Do not wait. The time will never be just right. Start where you stand and work with whatever tools you may have at your command, and better tools will be found as you go along. Napoleon Hill. Perhaps the most outwardly identifiable quality of high performing men and women is action orientation. They are in a hurry to get their key tasks completed. Highly productive people take the time to think, plan, and set priorities. They then launch quickly and strongly toward their goals and objectives. They work steadily, smoothly, and continuously. As a result, they seem to power through enormous amounts of work in the same amount of time that the average person spends socializing, wasting time, and working on low value activities. Getting into flow. When you work on your most important task at a high and continuous level of activity, you can actually enter into an amazing mental state called flow. Almost everyone has experienced this at some time. Really successful people are those who get themselves into this state far more often than the average person. When you are in the state of flow, which is the highest human state of performance and productivity, something almost miraculous happens to your mind and emotions. You feel elated and clear. Everything you do seems effortless and accurate. You feel happy and energized. You experience a tremendous sense of calm and increased personal effectiveness. In the state of flow, identified and talked about over the centuries, you actually function on a higher plane of clarity, creativity, and competence. You are more sensitive and aware. Your insight and intuition guide you and direct you to do and say exactly the right things at the right time. You see the interconnectedness of people and circumstances around you. You often come up with brilliant ideas and insights that enable you to move ahead even more rapidly. Trigger high performance in yourself. One of the ways you can trigger this state of flow is by developing a sense of urgency. This is an inner drive and desire to get on with the job quickly and get it done fast. It's an impatience that motivates you to get going and to keep going. A sense of urgency feels very much like racing against yourself. With this ingrained sense of urgency, you develop a bias for action. You take action rather than talking continually about what you are going to do. You focus on specific steps you can take immediately. You concentrate on the things you can do right now to get the results you want and achieve the goals you desire. A fast tempo seems to go hand in hand with all great success. Developing this tempo requires that you start moving and keep moving at a steady rate. The faster you move, the more impelled you feel to do even more, even faster. You enter the zone. Build up a sense of momentum. When you regularly take continuous action toward your most important goals, you activate the momentum principle of success. This principle says that although it may take tremendous amounts of energy to overcome inertia and get started initially, it then takes far less energy to keep going. The good news is that the faster you move, the more energy you have. The faster you move, the more you get done and more effective you feel. The faster you move, the more experience you get and the more you learn. The faster you move, the more competent and capable you become at your work. A sense of urgency shifts you automatically onto the fast track in your career. The faster you work and the more you get done, the higher will be your levels of self esteem, self respect, and personal pride. You will feel in complete control of your life and your work. Do it now. One of the simplest and yet most powerful ways to get yourself started is to repeat the words do it now, do it now, do it now over and over to yourself. If you feel yourself slowing down or becoming distracted by conversations or low value activities, repeat to yourself the words back to work, back to work, back to work over and over. In the final analysis, nothing will help you more in your career than for you to get the reputation for being the kind of person who gets important work done quickly and well. This reputation will make you one of the most valuable and respected people in your field. Eat that frog. Resolve today to develop a sense of urgency in everything you do. Select one area where you have a tendency to procrastinate and make a decision to develop the habit of fast action in that area. When you see an opportunity or a problem, take action on it immediately. When you are given a task or responsibility, take care of it quickly and report back fast. Move rapidly in every important area of your life. You'll be amazed at how much better you feel and how much more you get done. 21. Single handle every task. Herein lies the secret of true power. Learn by constant practice how to husband your resources and to concentrate them at any given moment upon a given point. James Allen. Eat that frog. Every bit of planning, prioritizing, and organizing comes down to this simple concept. Every great achievement of humankind has been preceded by a long period of hard, concentrated work until the job was done. Your ability to select your most important task, to begin it, and then to concentrate on it single mindedly until it is complete is the key to high levels of performance and personal productivity. Once you get going, keep going. Single handling requires that once you begin, you keep working at the task without diversion or distraction until the job is 100% complete. You keep urging yourself onward by repeating the words back to work over and over whenever you are tempted to stop or do something else. By concentrating single mindedly on your most important task, you can reduce the time required to complete it by 50% or more. It has been estimated that the tendency to start and stop a task, to pick it up, put it down, and come back to it, can increase the time necessary to complete the task by as much as 500%. Each time you return to the task, you have to familiarize yourself with where you were when you stopped and what you still have to do. You have to overcome inertia and get yourself going again. You have to develop momentum and get into a productive work rhythm. But when you prepare thoroughly and then begin, refusing to stop or turn aside until the job is done, you develop energy, enthusiasm, and motivation. You get better and better and more productive. You work faster and more effectively. Don't waste time. The truth is that once you have decided on your number one task, anything else that you do other than that is a relatively waste of time. Any other activity is just not as valuable or as important as this job based on your own priorities. The more you discipline yourself to working non stop on a single task, the more you progress along the efficiency curve. You get more and more high quality work done in less and less time. Each time you stop working, however, you break this cycle and move back along the curve to where every part of the task is more difficult and time consuming. Self discipline is the key. Albert Hubbard defined self discipline as the ability to make yourself do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. In the final analysis, success in any area requires tons of discipline. Self discipline, self mastery, and self control are the basic building blocks of both character and high performance. Starting a high priority task and persisting with that task until it is 100% complete is the true test of your character, your willpower, and your resolve. Persistence is actually self discipline in action. The good news is that the more you discipline yourself to persist on a major task, the more you like and respect yourself, and the higher is your self esteem. And the more you like and respect yourself, the easier it is for you to discipline yourself to persist even more. By focusing clearly on your most valuable task and concentrating single mindedly until it is 100% complete, you actually shape and mold your own character. You become a superior person. You feel stronger, more confident, and happier. You feel more powerful and productive. You eventually feel capable of setting and achieving any goal. You become the master of your own destiny. You place yourself on an ascending spiral of personal effectiveness on which your future is absolutely guaranteed. And the key to all of this is for you to determine the most valuable and important thing you could possibly do at every single moment and then eat that frog. Eat that frog. Take action. Resolve today to select the most important task or project that could complete and then launch into it immediately. Once you start your most important task, discipline yourself to persevere without diversion or distraction until it is 100% complete. See it as a test to determine whether you are the kind of a person who can make a decision to complete something and then carry it out. Once you begin, refuse to stop until the job is finished. Conclusion. Putting it all together. The key to happiness, satisfaction, great success, and a wonderful feeling of personal power and effectiveness is for you to develop the habit of eating your frog first thing every day when you start work. Fortunately, this is a learnable skill that you can acquire through repetition. And when you develop the habit of starting on your most important task before anything else, your success is assured. Here is a summary of the 21 great ways to stop procrastinating and get more things done faster. Review these rules and principles regularly until they become firmly ingrained in your thinking and actions, and your future will be guaranteed. Set the table. Decide exactly what you want. Clarity is essential. Write out your goals and objectives before you begin. Plan every day in advance. Think on paper. Every minute you spend in planning can save you 5 or 10 minutes in execution. Apply the 80-20 rule to everything. 20% of your activities will account for 80% of your results. Always concentrate your efforts on that top 20%. Consider the consequences. Your most important tasks and priorities are those that can have the most serious consequences, positive or negative, on your work or life. Focus on these above all else. Practice creative procrastination. Since you can't do everything, you must learn to deliberately put off those tasks that are of low value so that you have enough time to do the few things that really count. Use the ABCDE method continually. Before you begin work on a list of tasks, take a few moments to organize them by value and priority so that you can be sure of working on your most important activities. Focus on key result areas. Identify those results that you absolutely positively have to get to do your job well and work on them all day long. Apply the law of 3. Identify the 3 things you do in your work that account for 90% of your contribution and focus on getting them done before anything else. You will then have more time for your family and personal life. Prepare thoroughly before you begin. Have everything you need at hand before you start. Assemble all the papers, information tools, work materials, and numbers you might require so that you can get started and keep going. Take it one oil barrel at a time. You can accomplish the biggest and most complicated job if you just complete it one step at a time. Upgrade your key skills. The more knowledgeable and skilled you become at your key task, the faster you start them and the sooner you get them done. Determine exactly what it is that you are very good at doing or could be very good at and throw your whole heart into doing those specific things very, very well. Identify your key constraints. Determine the bottlenecks or choke points, internal or external, that set the speed at which you achieve your most important goals and focus on alleviating them. Put the pressure on yourself. Imagine that you have to leave town for a month and work as if you had to get your major tasks completed before you left. Motivate yourself into action. Be your own cheerleader. Look for the good in every situation. Focus on the solution rather than the problem. Always be optimistic and constructive. Technology is a terrible master. Take back your time from enslaving technological addictions. Learn to often turn devices off and leave them off. Technology is a wonderful servant. Use your technological tools to confront yourself with what is most important and protect yourself from what is least important. Focus your attention. Stop the interruptions and distractions that interfere with completing your most important task. Slice and dice the task. Break large, complex tasks down into bite-sized pieces and then do just one small part of the task to get started. Create large chunks of time. Organize your days around large blocks of time so you can concentrate for extended periods on your most important task. Develop a sense of urgency. Make a habit of moving fast on your key task. Become known as a person who does things quickly and well. Single handle every task. Set clear priorities. Start immediately on your most important task. and then work without stopping until the job is 100% complete. This is the real key to high performance and maximum personal productivity. Make a decision to practice these principles every day until they become second nature to you. With these habits of personal management as a permanent part of your personality, your future success will be unlimited. Just do it. Eat that frog. And that brings us to the end of Eat That Frog by Brian Tracy, a book filled with simple yet powerful strategies to overcome procrastination and maximize productivity. In part 2, we explored practices 11 to 21, which emphasized key habits like using technology wisely, staying focused, breaking big tasks into smaller steps, and continuously learning to improve efficiency. Key takeaways: prioritize ruthlessly. Identify your most important tasks and tackle them first. Take action immediately. Stop overthinking and start executing. Stay consistent. Productivity isn't about working harder, but working smarter. Success comes to those who take action, not to those who wait for the perfect moment. Your frog may seem intimidating, but once you tackle it, everything else becomes easier. I hope you found this book reading insightful. Which strategy resonated with you the most? Drop a comment below. And if you haven't already, check out part 1 where we covered the first 10 strategies. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more life changing book insights. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, eat that frog.